Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Ontario proposes to cut Greenbelt land for homes, add land elsewhere. Trudeau slams Ford government's attack on people's fundamental rights. Ontario man who killed mom, 2 kids in high-speed crash sentenced to 6 years in jail. The Toronto Eaton Centre isn't having a Christmas tree this year, this is why. No-go bus service on Monday if drivers go on strike, Metrolinx. Doctors, nurses, advocates call on governments to address healthcare crisis. These were the headlines, and now let's jump right into the details. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he spoke with Ontario education unions Friday morning as they took part in what the province is calling an illegal strike, and reiterated he was extremely worried about the use of the notwithstanding clause to mandate a contract with workers. Trudeau made the comments while speaking in North York about his government's GST credits for families. It is a very, very serious thing to suspend people's fundamental rights and freedoms, he said. The proactive use of the notwithstanding clause is actually an attack on people's fundamental rights, and in this case is an attack on one of the most basic rights available, that of collective bargaining. I think there are a lot of people, a lot of parents like me, who have kids in Ontario schools that are concerned about the job action, about the strikes, but I can tell you all parents should be extremely worried about the suspension of our most fundamental rights and freedoms. He added that the federal government is looking at all options to protect those freedoms. However, he did not go into detail about what those options could be. This isn't the first time Trudeau has spoke out against Bill 28, an Ontario law that passed Thursday that uses the notwithstanding clause to override sections in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms to make it illegal for workers to strike. Early this week, Trudeau called Ontario Premier Doug Ford and told him his use of the notwithstanding clause was wrong and inappropriate. The notwithstanding clause is part of Section 33 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and gives provincial governments the ability to override certain portions of the Charter for a 5-year time period. Ford, his part, has used the clause rather liberally. He first threatened to use it in 2018 to slash Toronto City Council seats during a municipal election, and then actually invoked it to restore parts of the Election Finances Act in 2021. In the case of Bill 38, the Ford government is arguing it's necessary to keep schools open and prevent disruptions for children. The outrage we are seeing across the country right now at this latest use of the notwithstanding clause, building on top of previous uses that I have consistently condemned, I think is a moment for all Canadians to reflect and say, yeah, our fundamental rights are not to be cancelled away by governments who want to get things done in the easiest and most efficient ways possible at the cost of people's fundamental freedoms, Trudeau added Friday. Ontario is also applying to have the strike and the actions of the union leaders deemed illegal by the Ontario Labour Relations Board.
I didn't want to be here. No one wants to be here. But we will never waver from our promise to do whatever it takes to keep kids in class.
Ontario is proposing to remove land from the protected Greenbelt in order to build at least 50,000 new homes, while adding new land to it elsewhere, contradicting a pledge made last year. Housing Minister Steve Clark announced Friday that government is launching a 30-day consultation on removing about 7,400 acres in 15 different areas from the Greenbelt, which was created to protect environmentally sensitive regions from development. If that proceeds, landowners will be expected to develop housing plans quickly, with construction beginning no later than 2025, he said. The aim is to build at least 50,000 homes on those lands in service of government's target of building 1.5 million homes in 10 years. Today we are taking further action to support this goal by launching a consultation on proposed changes to Greenbelt, Clark wrote in a statement. These proposals will support our municipal partners' plans for responsible growth and help build at least 50,000 new homes while leading to an overall expansion of the Greenbelt. Last year, when announcing plans to expand the Greenbelt by adding a moraine south of Toronto and a series of urban river lands, Clark said he would not cut the protected area or do a land swap. I want to be clear, we will not in any way entertain any proposals that will move lands in the Greenbelt or open the Greenbelt lands to any kind of development, he said. The government is now proposing to add 9,400 acres to Greenbelt elsewhere, including a portion of the Paris Gulf Moraine, and 13 urban river valleys in the Greater Golden Horseshoe. So when factoring in the land that would be removed, the Greenbelt would grow in size by 2,000 acres, Clark said. Ontario created the Greenbelt in 2005 to protect agricultural and environmentally sensitive lands in the Greater Golden Horseshoe area from development. Metrolinx says there will be no-go bus service on Monday if thousands of drivers go on strike. We're disappointed that the Amalgamated Transit Union ATU Local 1587 has voted against the current offer and is instead planning to strike, Metrolinx spokesperson Anne-Marie Aikens said in a statement. We will be working throughout the weekend to get an agreement and remain open to discussing ways forward with our ATU employees. ATU Local 1587, representing 2,200 station attendants, bus operators, maintenance workers, transit safety officers, and office personnel, said 81% of its members voted against the transit agency proposal and instead agreed to strike. Our members have made it utterly clear we will not accept a deal unless it addresses our primary concern, which is contracting out, ATU Local 1587 President Rob Cormier said in a statement. These basic protections against contracting out are the norm at every other transit agency in our region to ensure that experienced workers are on the job to ensure the safety of the buses. Without these protections, Metrolinx can contract to outside companies. Workers initially planned to strike on October 31st, but it was pushed back so the union could represent Metrolinx's offer to its members. They have been without a contract since June, despite the transit agency and the union meeting months before the agreements expired. The parties had failed to produce a new deal, leading union members voting in favor of a strike mandate in August. We have had enough. Starting Monday, we will walk the picket lines until we reach an agreement that protects job security for our current and future members, Cormier said. Speaking to CP24 Friday afternoon, Cormier said the union was booked a hotel hoping to get a new deal with Metrolinx this weekend and avert the strike. We plan to work all weekend. We want to get a deal for our members. Our last resort is to go on strike, Cormier said. He added that if the strike proceeds, it is likely that there will be no-go buses running on Monday, as about 700 of its members are bus operators. Associations representing Canada's doctors, nurses, and other health providers are calling on governments to work together to solve the healthcare crisis that is affecting people across the country. The Canadian Medical Association, the Canadian Nurses Association, and Healthcare Can, an association representing health organizations and hospitals, have issued a list of steps governments should take to fix the country's healthcare systems. The Prescription for Hope list released Friday includes creating a pan-Canadian licensing model to allow doctors to work anywhere in the country, strengthening mental health and well-being supports for healthcare workers, helping internationally trained health professionals get licensed to fill vacancies, and introducing a national workforce planning strategy. Canadian Medical Association President Alika Lafontaine said, healthcare systems across the country are facing similar challenges and governments should collaborate to address these challenges. Canadians are beginning to question if their health systems will be there when they need them, Lafontaine said. Healthcare workers and patients are united in calling on governments to take the steps necessary to stabilize and rebuild our health systems to ensure their survival. Canadian Nurses Association President Sylvain Brousseau said nurse shortages and other workforce issues are having a severe impact on healthcare system and governments should act urgently and introduce structural reforms before people lose trust in the system. Canada's healthcare system is failing people in Canada and it is no longer working the way it should be, Brousseau said. People are quickly losing confidence and they are concerned they won't be able to access critical health services when they need it. The association's calls comes ahead of a meeting of Canada's federal, provincial, and territorial health ministers in Vancouver next week. The meeting comes at a time when the healthcare system is facing unprecedented challenges with emergency department closures and staff shortages reported across the country. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.